Welcome to Classified Courage. Today's story is one that will leave you breathless. A classified tale of courage, skill, and the moment one pilot changed everything before an entire air base. This is the untold story of Lieutenant Emily Carter, the quiet aviator whose actions proved that true bravery doesn't need an audience. The morning broke in soft gold. Sunlight poured over the airfield, touching rows of F-22 Raptors that glimmered under the rising dawn. The distant hum of engines blended with the rhythmic clatter of tools. Ground crews moved like clockwork, focused, efficient, prepared. Among them walked Lieutenant Emily Carter. Her helmet hung at her side, her eyes scanning her aircraft with silent precision. She checked her gauges, adjusted her gloves, and ran one last inspection on her jet. There was nothing unusual about her demeanor, quiet, steady, almost invisible. But what no one knew was that Emily Carter was no ordinary pilot. She was one of the most skilled aviators in the Air Force, trained for top-secret operations so dangerous that even her peers only knew fragments. Her instincts were razor-sharp, her reflexes legendary among those who'd flown with her. But she preferred silence. She never boasted, never sought attention. She simply flew, flawlessly. Then, without warning, the calm was broken. A shrill alarm pierced the air, slicing through the hum of engines. Red lights blazed across the hangars. Mayday! Mayday! This is Captain Reynolds. Engine failure, altitude dropping fast. The voice came through the comms, desperate and crackling with static. Emily's head snapped up. She spotted the smoke trail instantly, a jet spinning out of control, twisting through the morning sky. It was Reynolds' F-22, losing altitude with terrifying speed. Commanders shouted orders over the radio. Get emergency crews on standby. All pilots hold position. But Emily didn't hold position. She ran. Every instinct screamed to act. She sprinted across the runway, climbed into her aircraft, and sealed the canopy shut. The cockpit filled with the sound of machinery roaring to life. The base commander's voice cut through her headset. Lieutenant Carter, you are not cleared for takeoff. Do not engage. She didn't answer. The engines screamed. The jet thundered forward, and she took off. Within seconds, she was airborne, cutting through the sky like a blade. The air roared around her as she locked eyes on the spiraling aircraft ahead. Reynolds, this is Carter. Talk to me. Static. Then a trembling voice. I'm losing her, Emily. Controls are dead. She's not responding. Hold what you can, she said firmly. I'm coming to you. Her hands gripped the controls, every movement precise. She maneuvered closer, matching his wild descent foot by foot. The two aircraft danced dangerously close, one falling, one fighting gravity to save it. Down below, the base fell silent. Officers, engineers, cadets, everyone watched the sky, hearts pounding. What Emily was attempting had never been done in real combat conditions. The air was chaos, wind shear, turbulence, smoke. But Emily moved with inhuman focus. She matched his spin, adjusted her angle, and extended the emergency rescue hook, a maneuver so risky that few dared attempt it, even in training. Almost there, she murmured under her breath. The jets twisted in sync, a deadly ballet high above the ground. Then, clack, the hook latched perfectly onto Reynolds' aircraft. Contact secured, Emily reported calmly. Stay with me. Now came the hardest part, descent. Using her own thrust, she stabilized both jets, compensating for the weight and drag. Her cockpit shook violently, alarms blaring, but her focus never broke. Every move was calculated, every breath controlled. Follow my lead, she said. We're going home. The two aircraft descended through the haze. Below them, the runway grew larger. Engines roared, tires screeched, and with one final pull, they touched down. Smoke trailed across the tarmac as both jets rolled to a stop. For a heartbeat, silence. Then cheers erupted from the control tower. Ground crews sprinted toward the jets. The impossible had happened. Lieutenant Emily Carter had just saved a pilot midair. Captain Reynolds stumbled out of his jet, his face pale, his hands trembling. Emily, you saved my life, he said, voice breaking. She smiled faintly, brushing away the sweat from her brow. Just doing my duty. But everyone on that base knew better. What she had done wasn't duty, it was instinct, courage, and mastery beyond comprehension. That night, The base was quiet again. The stars shimmered above the hangars. Emily sat on the rooftop, her helmet beside her, the cool night breeze brushing her face. She thought of the morning, of the noise, the fear, the moment everything came down to one decision. She didn't see herself as a hero. She saw herself as a pilot who did what needed to be done. Courage, she believed, isn't about recognition, it's about action when there's no time to think. Over the next few days, her story spread across the base like wildfire. Cadets whispered her name in awe. Engineers replayed the radar footage, stunned by her precision. Even the commander, a man known for never showing emotion, gave her a quiet salute in passing. One young cadet approached her after a simulation. "Lieutenant Carter," he said shyly, "how did you do it? How did you stay calm when everything was falling apart?" Emily smiled, her voice soft but steady. "You don't stay calm," she said. "You trust your training, your aircraft, and yourself. That's what flying and courage really mean." A few days later, Captain Reynolds found her again. His voice was quiet. "I owe you my life," he said. She shook her head. "You don't owe me anything. We're all in this sky together." She walked away, calm and humble as always, unaware that her story was already becoming legend. Years later, new cadets would whisper her name with reverence. Lieutenant Emily Carter, the woman who tamed the sky. Her courage was never loud. It didn't need to be. It lived in the silence between the engines, in the calm before the storm, in the split-second choices that define what it means to be truly brave. This was Lieutenant Emily Carter, and this was Classified Courage. If this story inspired you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because here, we uncover the unseen stories of real heroes who define courage in silence.